My name is Fallon, and today I will be showing you all how to screen print on a t-shirt. There are very specific materials involved in this process. The first two being emulsion and Daiso sensitizer. Basically, emulsion is light-sensitive glue that hardens under UV light. This is Daiso sensitizer. It's what you mix in the emulsion to make the emulsion light sensitive. Before mixing the sensitizer into the emulsion, you need to add water to the sensitizer and mix. The sensitizer comes as this black powder, and it's very important that you mix thoroughly so that the emulsion can fully embrace all of the powder. Once you pour the sensitizer into the emulsion, you have to begin stirring. The photo emulsion method of screen printing allows artists to create a photographic stencil featuring very detailed images. It's important to try not to create any bubbles, but make sure that your emulsion and sensitizer create a cohesive color. Usually this step would be taken in a UV light contained room, but since I was using a black cup and the shadow was blocking the emulsion and sensitizer, it's okay. Not all emulsion is green. After you mix the Daiso and the emulsion, you let them sit for 24 hours before use. This is a squeegee. It is used to push the ink through the screen. Today we used it to coat the emulsion as well. When creating your screen, it's very important that the screen is not exposed to any UV light. We use a red light so that we can see exactly what we're doing without destroying the screen. If your screen is exposed to any UV light before cured, you have to start completely from scratch. Once you're set up in your dark room, you can begin coating your screen with the emulsion. You just pour some on and use your squeegee to completely coat the entire screen, going back and forth from either side, pushing it through, making sure it's an even coat. When screen printing, it's very important to make sure you're using the right angle at all times. The 45-degree angle is the most common one, as you can push the ink or emulsion through very easily. Here I am using a wood-framed screen, but a lot of people use metal-framed screens. There's no really big difference, it's just personal preference. I like the wood screen because it's lighter and easier to maneuver. When you are finished coating your screen with emulsion evenly on both sides, it is important to place your screen in a safe and dark place with no exposure to UV light to let the emulsion cure. Depending on what emulsion you use, the time frame varies. Our emulsion only takes 20 minutes to cure. To speed up the curing process, you can place your screen in front of a fan. This is also personal preference. To make your design, you need to use this special type of paper called clear vellum. You can either hand draw it or print it in a printer. I did both, but I ended up going with the printed version as it prints better on a t-shirt. I made this design for Mr. Rec. Touch your screen to make sure it's all cured. The next step is burning your screen with your design. You need a piece of glass and a UV light. In order to burn your design onto your screen, you need an exposure unit with the UV light. You sandwich your design under a piece of glass and your screen under the light. The burn time varies depending on the emulsion you're using, but it usually takes 30 seconds to 2 minutes to burn your design onto your screen using UV light. Because I printed the paper, I'm going to burn the screen for 5 minutes instead of 1. It's very important to have a black surface behind the screen so that no light bounces back onto it. After burning the screen, you have to wash it and push the emulsion through what was burned. Um, Most people use a power washer, but because I was using a thinner, more silkier mesh on the screen, we just use a sink hose. Before you actually print on a t-shirt, you need to tape the ends of your screen just to keep things a little bit more neat and not as messy. After taping your screen, you can add the ink. We add the ink above the actual design and below the design as well. My brother and grandpa built their own screen printing machine, which is what I'll be using in the video, but all you need is a flat surface. Make sure you have your shirt laid flat with no creases or wrinkles, just for a better looking print. First you have to flood your screen with ink before you go in and push down at a 45-degree angle as I am right now. This is my first test. I did about 6 or 7 tests overall, so it ended up coming out pretty light because I did not press hard enough. After adding the ink to your shirt, you need to use a heat press or a heat gun to cure the actual ink itself. It is 320 degrees and you do it for about 40 seconds. If you do it for any longer, it burns. And I actually burnt a shirt like this, which is fine. It's all part of screen printing. Stuff like this happens a lot. Every shirt's not going to look the same, but to each their own. Getting used to using screen printing materials can be difficult. Here my brother's going to demonstrate how to make a shirt because he's been doing this for a lot longer. I wanted to make Mr. Wreck a pink one for whenever he's feeling a little soft, needs to squirt a few, he's having a bad day, and he can look down and see his inspirational message to be an animal, his little reminder every day. Here I'm curing the shirt again. I only did it for about 30 seconds because last time the other one burnt. Here are the final results. My first test was a little bit too light and my second test actually burnt. And I also didn't print the L all the way, so the L was a little bit light. As you can tell, the letters are a little fuzzy because of the way the emulsion cured initially. Not everybody does this, but I decided to clean my screen and get rid of the ink so I could give it to Mr. Wreck afterward. Just wanted to add that I know the shirt looks like it says Bean Animal, but I'm a beginner and I'm working on learning what designs look better on the shirts. Thank you!